and the whole team, and it's been a real team effort this year with the Midget.
So he's got a little bit left in the bank. I want to take you back to last Friday night. Let's take a look at a piece of videotape. Now remember, this guy is leading the run for the Sprint Car Championship. What was this all about in qualifying at Terre Haute? You look pretty good right up to right there. What happened?
I'd say the Simpson safety gear was definitely working good that day, I'd say. But I hauled it in a little too far. Was trying to get a real good lap, and that's about all I can tell you about it. It happened fast.
That's not a fun moment, and I guess there's a moment in there when you know it's going to go over. You just kind of hunker down and hold on.
Yeah, that's all you can do is just hunker down, and that's what I did. We finished out the night and
Got the points. That's the key, right?
Yeah, that's the Supes Sprint Car Series is going to be a tough series this year for us, and we'll just keep battling with them.
You don't have any pressure on you, really, in the midget division, so you can come here tonight, maybe let it hang out, try some things you wouldn't otherwise try if you were in the championship battle to try to win the race. Are you a little more aggressive tonight, maybe, than you would be if you were running for the title?
The car's running good, and we always try to push it to its limit without getting into somebody or getting it into the fence. So, but no, I have to agree. Without running the points real hard, it is a little freer on you.
Keep an eye on this guy tonight. Coletta going for 4 in a row with that race car. The guys who will call the action as the first heat forms up and gets ready to tackle this tricky 5/8 mile oval. High atop Indianapolis Raceway Park, we have the 3-time USAC national champion Larry Rice and the anchor of Thunder on ESPN2, Mr. Bob Jenkins.
Thank you, sir, and good evening, everybody. A full night of racing coming your way for the next couple of hours here on ESPN2's Thunder. Let's take a look at the format for tonight's race. We've already had qualifying. Fast time, Kenny Irwin Jr. Now we're ready for the first of 4 8-lap heat races in which the top 4 in each will advance to the feature, followed by a 10-lap semifinal in which the top 6 will advance to the 30-lap USAC National Skull Midget feature race coming up. And the cars are on the track, ready to go for heat race number 1. And here is the lineup. Ted Hines and David Bridges will be on row number 1. Second row, Tracy Hines in car number 4 and Jeff Howerton in 22. Lou Ciccone in 175 and Johnny Parsons in 93. And starting 7th and 8th, Kenny Irwin Jr., car number 9, the fast qualifier, and Kevin Blue in car number 51. Kevin did not turn in a time during qualifying, but is on the tail of the heat race.
Yes. Johnny Parsons is driving this car for the first time tonight. He's driven for the Bonitos and for Rusty Coons as chief mechanic before, but it's the first time he's been in this car this year, and he's really looking forward to having a good run with this car. It's a stout powered by Gertie, and he knows all about those kind of race cars.
Normally the car we see Brian Gerster in.
Exactly. Going to change there this week, and he's driving for Leary Brothers.
Pace car is off the racetrack, and we got 8 cars ready to rip it over on turn number 1. Turn them loose for 8 laps of racing. Hines, Bridges, Tracy Hines, Howerton, Ciccone, Parsons, Irwin, and Blue. Let's see if they get the green flag, and it is out. Let's go.
Bridges got a good jump on Hines, got into the lead. Hines battled him into the corner, but couldn't hang on, and Howerton is running in 3rd in that blue car.
Turn number 3 with the lead. The battle is for 3rd position as Ted Hines, who started up front, is running in 2nd position. And the battle for 3rd is between Howerton and Parsons. Parsons in the 93 car looked to the inside going into turn number 1, couldn't get the job done, and now Parsons is challenged by Lou Ciccone in that red and yellow car.
Ciccone tried to get under him. That car that Ciccone's driving is built by Danny Dryden. We all know that Dryden is a pavement specialist. He really works hard at getting cars to go fast in this racetrack, and he's here tonight to help Ciccone get that car going.
Ciccone in the 75. Kenny Irwin trying to move up, but the battle still rages on for 3rd position. Howerton and Parsons. There is Irwin, though, in car number 9, who's trying to make his way up through the field. Gerster is in the...
Well, you can see right there, the low groove is not really the best groove to be in. Parsons is down there trying to make a pass now, but Ciccone, when he moves down there, Ciccone tries to get on the outside and can't do it. But look at Irwin back there in the white car. He's trapped on the bottom. He can't make a pass on the bottom, although he does get around Howard.
Here comes Tracy Hines running side by side with Blue back there in the last position. Hines to the inside, off the corner, moves. Almost contact there between Parsons and Ted Hines. And now Irwin to the inside of Ciccone, can't make the pass.
Boy, those guys are really battling, trying to get that just a little bit of an advantage. Parsons pulls he gets sideways right there.
He sure did. Meanwhile, David Bridges is the leader of this race and pulling away, but some great battling is going on behind him. Here comes Hines and Parsons once again.
And look at Irwin. He's on the outside. And look at Ciccone. He's got car beside Parsons right now. He's going to make that stick. He's going to get in this corner harder and they can make this happen.
Boy, good performance by Lou Ciccone, who comes here from the state of Pennsylvania. He moves down alongside Parsons for third place. It's 3 wide racing off the corner, on the straightaway, and some contact between Irwin and Parsons. But Ciccone, for the moment, picks up third spot and now may have second, passing Hines, and he does.
And look at this. The brothers Hines now running in the 2 transfer spots. Parsons is caught back there in 5th position. He's out, so is Stewart. Those guys all got to get. Ted Hines is trying to block. Parsons on the outside, Tracy on the inside. They both get by.
Man, oh man, some great racing here in the first heat race of the evening. That is Tracy Hines, who has moved up. Oh, and Irwin rather, is sideways and spinning in turn number 2.
Sorry, that was Irwin who got sideways. He got down on the inside. He knew it was the last lap. He was trying to make that pass and make enough ground up to go ahead and get it. As a checkered flag falls, those 4 cars make it. And Kenny Irwin sits down there and has to run the semi.
Wow, an unfortunate break for Kenny Irwin Jr., the fast qualifier of the evening. Let it all hang out on the last lap in turn 2, and the car got out from under him. Well, impressive performance by David Bridges, who led all the way and watched all that battling in his rearview mirror. These things don't have rearview mirrors, but he would have watched in his rearview mirror.
That kid's got to be very happy. I think that's his first midget victory, at least the first one I've seen. He's got to be very happy. His father's got to be happy for him. If we take a look at the whole crew down there, they're a pretty happy bunch of guys. But I tell you what, Kenny Irwin had no choice. He was running 5th. He had to go for it. He was either pass one more car or run the semi anyway. He tried. He didn't make it.
Let's take a look at it once again, as on the last lap, the cars moved into turn number 2. Irwin in the white number 9, a little bit too low in the corner, and lets it get out from under him.
He just tried to drift up in front of him, tried to stay on the throttle because he knew he still had to get around Parsons. He was running in 5th, and by the time he tried to climb out of the throttle and save it, it was just too far around.
And from another angle, watch the car just get a little bit sideways, and from that point, you just hang on.
Yeah, he stayed in the throttle, trying to keep the thing, drive the thing forward, and it just got too far around on him, and time he climbed out of the throttle, there wasn't any saving it.
And so Irwin will have to run the semi-feature, but David Bridges is the man of the hour. He has won the first 8-lap heat race of the evening here at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
It's been all that easy this year, but things are getting a lot better, as you see, and we're able to finally do good, run up front, and I'm just really excited.
6 main event starts in a row, 1 top 10 finish. Now you come in here with a lot of momentum, the heat race victory. Tell me what your expectations are for the main event tonight.
Well, you know, this makes it a lot easier winning the heat race, and you're done when you don't have to run the semi and things. So hopefully, you know, the car's pretty close. You know, we work on it. I think we'll be fine-tuning it. I think we'll be pretty good in the future.
You pretty pumped up?
Oh, I'm very pumped up. You know, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Herco, Buckeye, Earl, Simpson. You know, those guys have been behind me 100%, you know, and hopefully we can get some of that wins challenge money tonight.
Attaboy. Get this thing back over there and get her tuned up for the main event. Congratulations. All right, David Bridges has won it. He's a happy camper. We go to heat race number 2. Give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Next 3 Wednesday nights, and a lot of variety in those next Wednesday nights.
Certainly are. We're going to see midgets tonight, sprint cars next week, and end up with the Silver Crown cars. You can't get much more variety than that.
And the week of the Silver Crown cars we'll also see here from Raceway Park over on the main network, the Craftsman Truck Series and the Busch Grand National race leading up to the Brickyard 400 over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, let's take a look at the point standings as we enter the 11th race of the year. At the conclusion of this event, the first third of the season will be over. Kenny Irwin Jr. is on top of the point standings, and if you're serious about contending for the midget point standings in the championship, you got to do 2 things. You got to pack your bags here in the next few days, and you got to like to run dirt.
The next 7 races are on dirt. These 5 guys are all basically pavement drivers. Now, with the exception of Tracy Hines, who's done very well in dirt, Gerster's done well in the dirt here recently, and Kenny Irwin's dirt program has really come a long way. whoever does well these next 7 races is going to have a leg up, I think, on everybody else.
And included in those 7 races for the first time, the Belleville Nationals. And there's also another very big USAC midget race that is traditionally held about 70 miles west of here at Terre Haute, Indiana. It's called the Hut 100, and we're very proud to announce that we will have live coverage of that event to end our Thunder season on Wednesday evening, September the 4th. The 44th annual Hut 100, 33 USAC midgets lined up in 11 rows of 3 at the Terre Haute Action Track.
What a sight. If you've never seen 33 midgets, 3 abreast at Terre Haute, you've never seen a race, and it's really, really neat.
Some highlights from qualifying. Actually, this is a low light for Ryan Newman.
Yes, he got a little high getting into turn 3, got up there, banged that fence really hard. He bent that right rear wheel. You can see him pulling that thing to a stop. He didn't want to go on around. But look, just from that bang, look at all the cement dust. He chipped away half the wall and ended up inside his wheel. That might have been one of the problems right there. So
it wasn't a good night for Ryan Newman in terms of qualifying, but it was a good night for Kenny Irwin Jr., who was the fastest qualifier of the evening. He did not set a new track record, but is fastest of all. Andy Michener second quick tonight. Tony Stewart third, followed by Doug Kalita, Johnny Parsons, and Steve Barth. Those are your top 6 qualifiers for tonight. Irwin has already run in the heat race. He'll be running the semi. We've got the second heat race ready to go here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 8 laps of competition. We'll do that when we come back to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Stay with us. Here's the starting lineup. Roy Carruthers will be on the front row on the pole along with Dick St. John. The second row, Jeff Sands, car number 10. Tim Schutt in number 26. He'll carry our onboard camera. Carl Olson and Steve Barth line up in row number 3. In the fourth row, Andy Michener in car number 2 and Andy Pierce in 83. Steve Schutt carries the onboard, Tim Schutt carries the onboard camera. And here's a young man who used to work as a mechanic for Dan Drynan and has taken over the control of the cockpit now.
Yeah, I was talking to him a little earlier. He said he actually ran wing sprint cars out in Pennsylvania back about 1987. He said he ran maybe 8 or 9 races total. Hadn't been in a race car since. Came back in his 4th race out, won in a Nemours race up in Kalamazoo. So kid came back in a hurry and has done a great job. And he's done, he's done a little bit of everything. Everybody around here knew him for his mechanical abilities, and he's a great mechanic. Obviously, he can transfer that to the racetrack.
Yeah, he worked as a mechanic for Michener and for Drynan, and it's the car that Michener used to drive, as a matter of fact. So we'll see how Tim Schutt does in the second heat race. 7 others are alongside, in front of, and behind him, and all looking for at least a top 4 finishing position to transfer automatically to the 13th lap feature. Roy Carruthers on the pole, Dick St. John on the alongside. 8 laps of racing set to go. Let's see if they get the green flag. Carruthers and St. John lead them down. Pace picks up. Green flag waves. Here we go.
Roy Carruthers, of course, didn't get a very good start right there. He's back to 3rd position already, but he's been pretty much a hot dog out here at some of the local small tracks for the last couple of years.
Dick St. John grabs the lead, but look at Schutt. My goodness, where did he come from? He's got the lead now as we go into turn number 4. Tim Schutt has the lead to complete lap number 1. Dick St. John second and Barth third.
St. John down on the inside, going to try to take it back, but he gets all sideways, barely misses Schutt. Schutt didn't give it in, so he kept on the throttle, kept the race car straight. Did exactly what he had to do. Nice job by both those guys.
Look at those eyes. Tim Schutt has got him wide open, and he's hanging on, hoping he can win this heat race. Lap 2 is completed. Now Barth begins to put a little bit of heat on St. John for that second position. Steve Barth running 3rd at the moment.
And Steve Barth in that yellow car completely demolished that race car a couple of weeks ago in Louisville. He went on rebuilding, put everything from the cage forward brand new. He said, I'm not too sure it's going to be perfect, but he looks pretty fast right now as he's running in 3rd and giving St. John all he wants.
Trying to take the position away there, going into turn number 3. Didn't get it done, and so they remain running in the same position. Tim Schutt hanging on to the lead. He's got about a 3 or 4 car length advantage on Dick St. John as Barth once again tries to see the opening. There is Carl Olson in car number 17, who is running in the 5th position.
And he's all the way from Auckland, New Zealand. He never really had paper tracks down in New Zealand, so this is quite a stretch for him to come here and run pretty doggone good on a big, fast, paved racetrack like this. This is the first time they've had their pavement car back out for quite a while.
Andy Michener is running in 4th position. position, there are St. John, Barth, and Michener, second, third, and fourth. So there are your transfer positions, along with Tim Shutt, who's leading the race. Barth, once again, looking to the inside, and Michener wants to... Oh, they touch wheels, and Barth's going to hit the fence. Oh, big time. Almost flipped over, but did not. It brings out the caution flag, however.
Boy, he has had some tough luck. What happened there is St. John got a little wiggly coming off number 4 corner. He tried to gather it all back up, and while he was going down the straightaway trying to get things gathered back up, they just touched wheels. I think Barth thought he was past him, and I think St. John was still trying to gather things up a little bit. It looked like he hit that wall pretty hard. He's okay, obviously, which is the important thing, but the car probably has got some damage done to it.
It's not damaged nearly as bad as it was down in Kentucky, but he's still got a little bit of work to do here as he got up into the fence in the second heat race and almost flipped it over. Let's go back to turn number 4 and see how this thing's set up.
Right there. St. John got a little sideways, got way high on the racetrack. Barth thought he had a run at him down through here. But see, St. John is still, he's drifted down the racetrack a little bit, still trying to gather it up. They just weren't, either one really didn't have enough room to get in there. St. John came down. Barth couldn't go any lower and still make the corner, and they just touched as they went in there.
Hard impact there, too, that sent the car onto its side and almost over. Again, second look at it from our camera located down in turn number 1. Looked like that Shutt also had a problem coming off the corner, but the action is actually behind him.
See, St. John starts up the racetrack, then back down the racetrack. I just don't think Barth saw him. He didn't have any idea he was there. He started to get up the racetrack a little bit to get into the corner, and they just touched his right rear with his left front, and it was all over for him.
So Steve Barth, who is 4th in the point standings going into this event, has some repair work to do on the car before the semi feature. It's going to be a great semi. There is Dick St. John, and obviously there might be some damage to that car too, the front suspension.
Well, probably some of the steering mechanism there. When you get hit that hard, the steering mechanism can get bent very easily, can knock the toe out, and so forth. So Steve Barth is not very happy with Mr. St. John right now. You can tell that.
Looks like the USAC officials and team members have checked over the front suspension, and they determined that it is okay, and so St. John will rejoin the race. He'll have to drop into the tail, however. Well, Tim Shutt is putting on a very good show, just as David Bridges did in the first heat race.
I got to tell you, this 41 car is kind of interesting. They've got a whole bunch of people from Crawfordsville, Indiana, that help sponsor that car. I think that Slows Furniture, Baker, Gould, Kurtz, and Reliable Used Cars. I don't know, he had about a half a dozen of them. They must all give him a few bucks, and it's great for that city to get behind a car like that.
Dave, what's his opinion on what happened?
Well, I don't know. We may have missed the best speech. You had your words with him. What'd you say to him?
I was just trying to get him to stop. I mean, he destroyed my car tonight. These guys, they just need to pay attention out here. This is a fast place, and you don't just keep coming back down the track, and you don't know what's behind you. So, yeah, that's the way it goes. This race.
Check your line away from you. What about the race car? I mean, this thing was destroyed once, and you just got to rebuild. How bad is it this time around?
I don't know. I can tell you more when we get back there. It looks pretty bent up. I don't know if we'll be able to fix it or not.
All right, the Barth family will have some work to do. Steve's okay, and tempers are cooling down here. I think we're going to be all right.
Well, that's good. There's the car that Barth had the accident in. Let's take a look at it from Tim Shutt's onboard camera, the action behind him. He went into corner number 1 and thought everything was okay, but then behind him, the touch of the wheels.
Well, you can see from that angle, it did appear that St. John came down the racetrack quite a bit more than it did from that other angle. So I couldn't tell whether he was still trying to gather the race car up or he just drove it in there a little lower trying to protect his position. Either way, though, when he touched that left rear wheel or right rear wheel of Steve Barth, it sent him right into the fence. He didn't have a chance.
There are your top 5. Shutt, Michener, Olson, Sands now moves into 4th position, and Roy Carruthers, who started on the pole, is in 5th spot. The green flag comes out, and we are out to racing.
And Michener takes the lead as they come down for the green flag. He got a great run on Shutt as they came off at turn 4 and just went right on around him, but they're not going to let that happen. The yellow flag has come back out, and they're going to say, no, no, no. Mr. Michener, you got to wait until they get around here before you can pass that guy.
Yep. So Tim will retake his position at the front of the field. Andy waves him around, and as we indicated, Tim used to work for...
oh, look at this.
Oh, and Andy's pulling in the fence. What's going on here?
I don't know. He's pointing to the engine. He's patting the hood, and then he pointing to the engine. Kind of hard to believe that there's an engine problem after he just flew away on that restart, got into the lead. But you can see Larry Curry and Watt and all the boys jumping in there trying to find out what the problem is. But it looks like they're going to have to take the hood off.
Wow. Well, we're down now to 6 cars as Michener is in the pits and the crew checking in the engine department. Here we go. The green flag is going to come back out and the race resumes. This time, Schutt makes sure that he doesn't get shut out, and he maintains the advantage now over Carl Olson, who's running in second position. And Olson ready to take the lead, trying to down the backstretch.
Carl Olson, this is the best I've ever seen him run on the pavement. He's really looks like he's got this is a car that he hasn't run before. It's a new car. I should say he hasn't had this car out for quite a while.
Sands is third, and then Roy Carruthers. Schutt has his hands full now with Carl Olson. Olson won't make the bid that he made last time as he drops back 3 or 4 car lengths, and Schutt maintains the lead. Now Olson will go for it again in turn 3. Not this time.
Well, he can drive that thing in the corner, but Schutt's just hanging on. He's got it. Where he wants to go.
One more lap to go. This is the final lap for Tim Schutt. Is this young man going to win his first heat race in USAC National Midget competition, just like David Bridges did in the first heat? Olson's going to take another run at him. He drives it in very deep, and oh, he held on, but he didn't take the lead, and Tim Schutt is going to win heat race number 2.
Jeff Sands and Roy Carruthers both transfer. They're finished 3rd and 4th. So Roy Carruthers, the young guy, along with Jeff Sands, who transfer, and Andy Pierce was the guy who was the odd man out and will have to go on to the semi-feature.
And Dave, what happened to Andy Michener?
Well, let's find out. The fast qualifier spun out in his heat race. The second fastest qualifier looked like he had the lead. Andy Michener, what happened?
I believe a mag wire came off the magneto right when we took the lead, and we're going down there, and that's a darn shame. We're running real good, but see, little gremlins and everything keep on biting us, but we're going to get it handled and everything, and we're going to go out for the last chance, I believe it is, and see if we can win that.
Go mix it up with Kenny Irwin. That ought to be fun, huh?
We're going to do that, and hopefully we can do good there, and hopefully we can go on and win a race. The car is the best that I've ever felt, and, I thank Larry Curry and Donnie Skinner and Matt Curry and the whole crew, and we're getting there. They just got to be patient with us, and we'll be okay.
Real quick, what about Tim Schutt winning that race? That's kind of cool to see your ex-mechanic out there leading you around, huh?
You know what? After that last race, he won, I believe, in an Amar's event last week at Kalamazoo. His head kind of got that big, so I want to make sure I beat him. But he's doing a good job, and I'm proud of him, and he did a good job, and I'm glad to see him win on heat race.
Well, you're the dropout interview. I got to go to Victory Lane and talk to him and see how big his head really is. Okay. We'll see you in the semi.
Thanks.
All right, that's Andy Michener. Let's go back upstairs.
Kid that always has a smile on his face despite some bad luck.
I was going to say, it's hard to see a guy smile that big after falling out of a heat race, isn't it?
Danny Dryden also down there in Victory Lane greeting Tim Schutt, and we will be back to talk with him in just a moment. There are the top 5 finishers in the second heat race. Olson second, then Sands, Carruthers, and Andy Pierce finishes 5th. We'll be right here, number 3. Just did not get the job done, and Tim Schutt has won a heat race. Look at the effort here by Olson.
Man, he drives that thing down in there. He just wasn't close enough. When he slid up, he was behind him instead of in front of him. That's all.
And look at those eyes of intensity from Tim Schutt. Man, he had his eyes focused on what was ahead, not behind. Olson was second. Then Jeff Sands, Roy Carruthers, the 4 transfers. Andy Pierce will run the semi along with Andy Michener, Kenny Irwin Jr., and a lot of others. Let's talk to the winner of that race, Tim Schutt.
Second opportunity tonight to see a new face in Victory Circle. First of all, congratulations, Tim Schutt. Nice work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I checked him out. He's got the same hat size that he had before he won that AMR race. I don't care what Andy Michener says. Andy, by the way, says congratulations to you. How does it feel to whip those guys and come home with a heat race victory?
Well, I don't know about whooping anybody. We did good. I'm real happy, of course, but it's just a heat race and the features 30 laps, and all those guys will be gunning to win a race here. This place is a pretty important place to win at, and those guys will be full throttle in the feature.
Let's talk about that. What are you going to do to the car? What do you think the car needs? And what do you think you can do in the main event? What's your goal for tonight?
Well, the car builder did a great job because the car is excellent, and we probably won't change anything on the car because right now the car is still faster than what I am. We loosened the car up just a little bit for the heat race. We'll probably tighten it back up maybe just a little bit for the feature, but other than that, the car's running great.
All right, man. Stay cool. Go out there and whip them again. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Tim Schott wins it, and he's looking to the main event. And we have 8 of our drivers qualified to the 22 that'll go for the big money tonight. Back up top.
And the cars are positioning themselves for the start of heat race number 3.
Yes, and he has a new sponsor. Kiko came on board. They sponsor some of the National Midget Series already. They're partial sponsor on his car, so he's real happy to have them on board.
8 laps of racing coming up. There is Kenneth Nichols being pushed away for this third heat race. He will line up outside of row number 2. We'll show you the complete lineup in just a moment. First, though, let's bring you up to date on some of the races that are coming up. The USAC Sprint Car, the Stoops Freightliners Sprint Car Series, will have a big weekend, the weekend after this coming weekend. It's called Indiana Sprint Week. They'll run Friday night at Bloomington Speedway, Saturday night at Paragon, and then wrap it up with the finale at Evans Kokomo Speedway. That's an interesting weekend of sprint car racing.
Well, it seems like every state has their big speed weeks. This one happens to be the Indiana Speed Weeks. It's 3 races long. It's been going on, but this is the first time I know of that USAC has been involved in it, and it should be a big weekend of racing around this part of the country. I just want to say hi to a couple people while I get a chance. Ernie Gorman's birthday. He's a car owner, the father of a car owner out here. And Gary Bentonhouse, he's up in Canada, kicking back and taking her easy. Hi, GB.
Fishing, I'll bet.
I'll bet so, yeah.
Okay, let's check the starting lineup here for the third heat race. Tony Elliott, who won the most recent national midget race at the Richmond Speedway in Kentucky, will be on the pole. On the outside will be Mark Boyce from Noblesville, Indiana. Ryan Newman starts inside row 2. He had problems in qualifying. Kenneth Nichols, who has won 2 of the 3 races here at IRP this year, lines up outside row number 2. Third row consists of Brian Gerster at number 30 and Jimmy McCune at 48. And row number 4 will have Tony Stewart in car number 91. We are set to go racing. We've got 7 cars ready to do battle once again.
Well, this ought to be kind of an interesting start because the 2 guys up in the front did not have very good qualifying times. Tony Elliott didn't qualify very well, so it's going to be interesting to see what he's going pretty quickly. And as we say that, somebody from the second row jumps into the lead going into the first turn, and that's Nichols.
Man, and the pole sitter, Tony Elliott, has dropped way back to the last position. Obviously, that car is not working at all. The outside pole sitter drops now back to a battle for 4th position. Off the corner, onto the straightaway for the first time. Nichols is the leader, followed by Ryan Newman, and then Gerster in car number 30. Gerster in the black number 30 this week. That's sometimes run by Leary.
Leary, that's the Leary Brothers car. Of course, Chuck Leary used to run that car all the time. Hasn't run it now for a few weeks. But Gerster now in that race car just for a big... That was Jimmy McCune. Came up there. Looked like he clipped the tail end. Obviously, he had a better perspective, and he knew he had him missed. We just didn't know.
Jimmy McCune running in 4th position. Good 3-car battle here. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And now a 4th car comes up to join along. Guess who that is? It's Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. And just remember, one of these 4 cars is not going to make the feature race. They all know that as Gerster goes down to the inside. He might get hung out down there if he doesn't make this pass. Nope, he doesn't get hung out, but he did lose a position.
Yes, he did.
He's going to lose 2 positions. He did get hung out. I was right. You get down there. Oh, and look at McCune. Down there running that striker car inside of Ryan Newman. These 2 young guys both kind of rivals. They're about the same age. Both kind of the young and upcoming new guys. And believe me, McCune is real happy to be running 2nd right there.
McCune is 2nd. 3rd place, Ryan Newman. But Tony Stewart tried to make a move on him down in turn number 1. He'll probably try again next lap around. Meanwhile, it is still up front. Kenneth Nichols showing the way with a big margin. Now let's see what Tony Stewart can do with Ryan Newman this time. Nothing.
He's going to try to get that position. He wants to get that little bit of cushion as he's really working the wheel in that beast car. Bob East and Steve Lewis. And now that he goes by him down into turn 3. Oh, man, Newman had to give him a little room right there. He started to slide up. I think Newman got a little nervous. He moved over and let him go on the line. But he didn't give up real easy.
Stewart up now to 3rd position. Ryan Newman right behind. Ryan is the 18-year-old from South Bend, Indiana, running in 4th position, the final transfer spot. Running back in the 5th spot is Gerster, and right now not a threat to make the feature race. The white flag comes out. And Kenneth Nichols has 1 more lap to go. Jimmy McCune slips up on him, though.
Now, McCune is catching him just a there behind him. He's also catching it. Look at McHugh gaining and going down that back straightaway. He wants to win this race pretty bad as he gets up there, gets a little sideways. It's not going to happen, I don't think, but he really gave her a
good ride, but Kenneth Nichols wins heat race number 3. McHugh second. Tony Stewart was third, and finishing in fourth position was Ryan Newman. That 10-lap semi-feature, Larry, is going to be a good one because already we've got some top contenders in it.
Boy, it's going to be a tough race. They call it a last chance race, and that's exactly why they call it that.
Well, this is a guy who has had much success here at Indianapolis Raceway Park already this year. He won the first 2 races that were run here during the month of May, early in the month of May, and then the night before the 500, Kenneth Nichols also won the race. And so he has 2 out of 3 victories here at Indianapolis Raceway Park this year.
That R&S RV sales is a new sponsor for him also. Maybe it's a new sponsor's night to win races.
Kenneth Nichols wins heat race number 3. We got one more to go, but when we come back, we'll talk to Kenneth Nichols, the winner of heat race number 3.
Congratulations.
Thank you, David. Pleasure to be here.
I tell you, I missed your night before the 500 win here. It's been a long time since we've had a chance to share the microphone here. And I can't help but think that this is a pretty big night for you because you've slipped back to 6th in the points. But when we look at the numbers, you're only 20 points out of 3rd. You stand to gain a lot of ground here tonight, don't you?
Yeah, the points battle is super tight this year, and we've unfortunately had to miss a couple of dirt shows which dropped us behind. And we've got the Fontana House engine in tonight, and we've had a gremlin in it somewhere tonight. It's popping and cracking with qualify, so we qualified terrible. Then guys thrashed, Joe and the gang from Fontana thrashed, and they got the motor running sharp again enough. So now we can start chasing chassis, and feature time, Lord willing, we'll come back through.
You know what you're going to do to it yet?
We're going to work on the stagger a little bit, and I think the motor's there now, so just a little fine-tuning and see what we can do.
Let's take a look at the start here. We got a highlight to give you a look at. You really got a good...
Thank you. We're looking forward to it.
All right, that's Kenneth Nichols, twice a winner already here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, looking for number 3.
Cox in 8, Jeff Hunt in 6, 3rd row, Randy Tolsma in car 661 or 66, and Doug Coletta in 21, and Chris Schultz was supposed to be in 7th position in car number 70, but the car is in the pit area, so we have 6 cars in this 4th and final heat race, and 4 of them will go to the feature.
That's right. 4 cars will transfer. Coletta is a fast car in the back of the field. Let's see how quickly he can come through, or if he can't come through at all.
Jack Hewitt from the pole position has to fall back into 2nd as Nate Law has taken the lead here in the early going.
Yes, he did. And look at Coletta. He's the 4th car in your screen right there. That black car, he got a good jump from last. Got around 2 cars going through 1 and 2. Already up into 4th position.
It's Nate Law, Jack Hewitt, John Cox, then Coletta. Running back in the 5th position is the 6th car of Jeff Hunt, and Randy Tolsma bringing up the rear. There's Doug Coletta trying to get 3rd position.
All these guys are running pretty fast. Coletta just kind of biding his time, trying to find a way around. You know, the low groove is not the fastest groove. He almost touched wheels right there, and that's not what you want to do in this race.
Well, he sure did. Meanwhile, John Cox dives to the inside of Jack Hewitt and cannot pick up 2nd position, so they remain in the same order. But Doug Coletta almost left wheels with John Cox that last lap. Here comes Ronnie trying to take 2nd from Hewitt again and cannot get the job done.
Hewitt is pretty quick through the corners, but it doesn't seem like that engine is running very well down the straightaways. They get a big run on him and almost get around and going down the straightaway. And then moving into the corner, he's really running quick, so they can't, they've got to get by him on the straightaway before they get the corner. He's just too fast for him in the corner.
Jack Hewitt qualified only 24th best out of 27 cars here this evening, so that's an indication that that car is just not running well at all. Nate Law hangs on to the lead, has a good advantage here. We continue to focus, though, on this battle, and there's Coletta to the inside of John Cox.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all right there together. Coletta can't get it done. That really surprised me. He's been so fast on this racetrack for so long, but these guys all hanging on and keeping him back there, so they got to be running fast to keep him behind.
John Cox having difficulty passing Hewitt. Coletta's having difficulty passing John Cox. Meanwhile, these other 2 cars, namely Jeff Hunt and Randy Tolsma, have joined this group, and now it is a 5-car battle.
Yes, it seems like Coletta's doing most of the trying right now, trying to find a way around. Right now, he's down to the bottom. He might have a shot right now to get around both these guys. Oh, no, he doesn't yet. He's still running sideways. Now he's like on the front.
Yep, he's got third. Now let's see what he does with Jack Hewitt for second position. He takes a look down to the inside, going to turn 3. Here comes the white flag. One more lap to go, and Coletta looks to the outside. Can he make a pass up there? No.
Well, he can if he's got enough room, but he's got to make sure he's up far enough. If he gets just the nose up there, he'll get squeezed up to the fence for sure. And he does want to do that. Tolfa down on the inside, back there in the back, trying to get around Jeff Hunt. Can't do it.
And here comes Coletta once again, trying to make a final bid. Not going to get the job done unless he does it on the outside. He's passed Hewitt, and by golly, Doug Coletta wins, and he's second. Passing Hewitt on the outside in turn number 4.
That was a nice move by Doug Coletta. He faked him down on the inside for a couple of laps. He got Hewitt to move down just enough to give him a room on the outside and pulled in the second position.
It's a night for first-time heat winners. Nate Law has put himself in the record book as the winner of heat race number 4 here tonight, as Doug Coletta came from the 6th starting position to pass Jack Hewitt on the final lap on the outside to finish in 2nd position.
This young man's from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He's been trying for a couple of years to come out here and do well. This is the first time he's really looked like he's had his act together. He certainly did do very well in that particular.
And once again, we're going to take a break and then come back to talk with him. The semi-feature is the next event coming up. 10 laps of racing. There are the top 5 finishers in heat race number 4.
ESPN, the leader in sports broadcasting, presents the Total Sports Video Library, featuring over 80 action-packed titles, including the greatest moments in sports history, informative how-to videos from renowned experts, and the funniest bloopers ever made. Whatever your sport, ESPN Home Video has got what you need.
Available at Wegmans Home Video and at Fred Meyer.
You say you like NASCAR? Well, strap into your seat, check your instrument panel, and punch the accelerator. Welcome to NASCAR Online, NASCAR's official site on the World Wide Web, where you can ride shotgun all the way to the checkered flag, get up to the minute news, track reports, and driver info. You even have access to the same stuff as Winston Cup officials. NASCAR Online, any more in-depth than your computer would need lug nuts. NASCAR Online, start it up.
21 days. 2,378 grueling miles. A true test of strength, endurance, and character. It's the world's ultimate cycling event. The Tour de France, presented by Michelin. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock on ESPN2.
Hey, big night for new faces here as the Thunderheads gather at Indianapolis Raceway Park. You're about to meet Nate Law, who has beaten the likes of Doug Coletta, Jack Hewitt, and Ronnie Johncox in heat race number 4. Congratulations, Mr. Law. Nice piece of work, buddy.
Thanks. It feels great. We've worked real hard with this car. We've made some changes. Things are getting better. I don't know what to say. I'm so excited. I got to thank my dad for helping me, sticking with me with this thing, and the guys that are working on the car are doing a great job.
David Bridges came up, gave you a big thumbs up. This is a big night for new guys. What I want to ask you, they talk about this racetrack and they say, you know, IRP is a place that takes a lot of experience to win. You've run here about 4 times. What have you learned about this place, about getting around it quickly?
It's tough. The qualifying's tough. I'm having a hard time with that, but momentum, I think, is a key. I'm working on it. When I get into a race mode, it's better. Qualifying those first 2 laps are tough, but we're trying to do the best we can. We're new. We're running for Rookie of the Year this year, and we hope to do the best.
Pretty nice shot in the arm here to win the heat race. Let's talk about the feature. What do you think the prospects are? What can you do with them?
I feel good about it. My qualifying time wasn't that great, and that may put us back in the field, but we're just going to do the same thing and see how far up we can come.
All right, Tennessee Thunderhoods, there's your man. Nate Law has won the heat race. He's headed for the main event. Nice work, man. Let's go topside.
I guess you normally think of drivers who grow up in Tennessee as perhaps being stock car and Winston Cup fans and wanting to go in that direction. It's kind of nice to see an open wheel guy from that part of the country come up here and run in open wheel.
Well, he grew up with the mini sprints. That's where he started racing, with mini sprints, of course, with winged open wheel cars. And so his natural progression was try to come on into USAC midgets and sprint cars, and so he's chosen the midgets.
Well, finishing second in that race was Doug Kalita. Now, we've already documented what happened to Doug last Friday night at the USAC Stoops Freightliner Sprint Car Race in Terre Haute, Indiana. Let's see what else happened at the 7th annual Jim Hurtubise Classic. Just after the checkered flag ended the first heat race, Gus Watson in red touched wheels with Todd Wolford and nearly had the same fate as Kalita, but made a nice save. The same can't be said for Tim Cox in black on the right, who bumped into Mark Casella when he braked for Tony Stewart, and Cox did a Tommy tip over. Same spot on the track. 4 laps later, Casella jumps the cush big time and rolled over a couple of times in the dirt. Jason McCord was in command for 17 of the 30 laps, while Kevin Thomas ran second, and Brian Hayden in the white number 2 and Tony Stewart in the blue 17 raced for third. Jason eventually dropped back to 6th, as Thomas led Stewart and Hayden to the checkered flag. This is getting to be a habit for Kevin, who won the Silver Crown race at Terre Haute just a week before. And yes, folks, that is the same racetrack that the Hut 100 will be run on Wednesday night, September 4th, the race that will wrap up ESPN2's Thunder telecast for 1996. I can't wait.
I can't either. That's always a terrific race. And look at all the Thunderheads. Hello, Tony Stewart. I think maybe Dave's got somebody a little different, but still quite a celebrity.
A special guest, yeah.
He gets a round of applause just by walking through the joint. By the way, it is true that Bob Jenkins saw all 44 of the previous Hot 100s. Stan Fox probably interviewed this guy more on this television program than anybody else, but not lately. What are you up to lately?
Well, like I said, I'm a bowling guy tonight.
What's up with that anyway?
We just brought a bowling cart down there to show everybody, and they wanted to bring me along too, so I said, sure, I'll come. If you want me to go down there, I'll be more than happy to go down.
So here you are. Last time we saw you was at Indy trying to get a ride organized. Nothing happened there. You're out here tonight watching all these kids winning the midgets. You still want to get back in a race car and show these guys the fast way around?
You know, I'm not ready yet, and I realized that after Indy. And I'm going with a girl that's working on me twice this week. She's been working on me from Madison, and hopefully little by little I get better and better. By next Indy, I hope I can run, is all I can say.
Is that right? So you still got the desire to get back in there?
Oh, I have the desire.
How about the fun of just coming out? Is it fun to come out as a spectator? And particularly when you see these new guys coming up. I mean, you've been around the racing game a long time. Maybe you can still remember what it was like to be a kid and win that first heat race. How do you feel about coming out and being a spectator?
See, you're wrong. I'd rather race than look at these guys. Oh, yeah, you say hi, you wave at them, all that. You just want to race, not watch. And that's all I want to do is race. So I'm sitting there smiling at them and all that, and I'm just being as phony as they are. You know?
I hear you. I hear. What's the scoop on this bowling pin thing? I don't quite understand what that. You got a picture? Can you show us the bowling pin? What's that all about? It's got your name on the side of it.
Well, they let me use it at Indy last year when I ran, not this year, last year when I ran Indy. I had bowling on my car and all that stuff. And we have a neat bowling. It's like a bowling pin that's really neat. You can drive it around and do stuff like that. And they just brought it now for guys like this to see what the heck's going on. I don't know what it's neat about. It doesn't look neat to me, you know. If you think it's neat, that's weird.
Hey, American Bowling Congress is up there in Milwaukee, your neck of the woods. What's your average anyway? You bowl?
Yeah, I don't bowl very well. I'm lucky if I bowl 150.
Oh, that's not bad. Stan Fox, good to see you as always. We're looking forward to the day when you're not out here as a spectator, you're back in that race car soon, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, that's Stan Fox. Good to see him as always. We're going to take a break and come back with more. The Thunderheads are gathered here. The semi is next, and we got big guns. Kenny Irwin versus Michener. Stay tuned.
Yesterday, we went to my favorite place, Burger King. Mom and Dad had a special surprise waiting for me. It was Quasimodo.
Now your kids can get all 4 puppets. From Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, just $1.99 each with any value meal.
And then I got carried away just like Quasimodo. Okay, maybe the last part didn't really happen.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame puppets, only at Burger King.
The Silver Bullet is shipped cold to tap the cool taste of the Rockies.
At Citgo, when you team up our super premium gasoline with our Super Guard motor oil, you'll get all the high performance and reliability you demand. So, prepare yourself to be totally blown away. Super premium performance. Citgo says go.
There are enough things in your life you have to wait for. Your sports news shouldn't be one of them. ESPN News Network, the 24-hour sports news network from ESPN. Who else?
It's ESPN2's Thunder from Indianapolis Raceway Park, the USAC National Skull Midget Series. Next week, however, will be right here, but the Stoops Freightliner Sprint Car Series will be on the racetrack, and one guy who will not be there is Greg Staub, because Greg announced his retirement in the past week. He participated in 117 sprint car races for USAC, was the 1988 sprint car points runner-up, 8 top 10 series points finishes, and his one career win was here at IRP July 28th of 1988.
And it was a great win. He was a great competitor. He was a great guy to be around. He was a great guy to be with and to race with. We're sorry to see him quit, but we know that he's going to stick with the sport and do other great things with the sport.
So, what have the sprint car drivers been up to? Well, it was Old Timers Weekend in Winchester last weekend, but the current day USAC Stoops Freightliner Series was the main attraction. With his driving career over, Greg Staub now becomes a car owner, and Tice Carlson the man behind the wheel. It took David Steele just 14.528 seconds to go around the half-mile track, breaking Kenny Irwin Jr.'s previous one-lap mark by 0.04 of a second. 2 others were under 15 seconds, including Chet Phillip and Andy Michener in the Hoffman car. The first heat race, the field charged into the first turn, led by Jim Mahoney, who beat Billy Puterball and Brad Armstrong. Everyone emerged except Mahoney. His car slammed against the wall. He suffered a sprained wrist, and the car couldn't be repaired in time for the semi, so Mahoney spectated the rest of the day. In the feature event, Brian Tyler took advantage of being on the pole and beat Gus Wasson into turn number 1. Tyler led the first 9 circuits. But Chet Phillip made the pass coming off turn number 4 and took the lead he would never relinquish. Chet beat Tyler, Kalita, Steele, and Michener to the checkered flag. Kalita's lead is now 11 in the point standings. Brian Hayden, who finished 11th, is third, followed by Steele and Jason McCord.
All right, thanks, Bob. Staub may be retired. This guy shows no signs of retiring. Johnny Parsons. There's been some ride swapping going on in the midget division. Brian Gerster used to drive the 93. Now Johnny Parsons is in, not really a new ride. This is like coming home for you, isn't it?
It is with Rusty Kuntz. Steve Benito gave me the call last week. I said, yeah, I'd be happy to run it. Ran this frame for a different owner at Phoenix earlier this year, but the Benito Tank Lines car's running pretty good. I think we should be better in the feature.
How many rides are you going to do in this thing, you know yet?
Just a couple. You know, we're concentrating on the IRL ride for the year, and, you know, we might not make Loudon now, but, hey, we'll race anytime we can.
Ready for Vegas, I hope, huh?
Yeah, I think we're going to be back for that. Looking forward to that beautiful facility.
All right, Johnny Parsons with that 93 car tonight for the feature. He qualified out of the first heat race. Let's go back topside.
This is the semi-feature, and this should be good because we got a lot of top drivers that are in it. Kenny Irwin Jr. is on the pole. Andy Michener alongside. Second row is Brian Gerster and Randy Tolsma. Row number 3, Jeff Howerton and Jeff Hunt. In the 4th row, Mark Boyce and Dick St. John. Row number 5, Kevin Blue and Ted Hines. In the 6th row, car number 83, Andy Pierce. Chris Schultz was scheduled to go. However, his car is still in the pit area, and he is finished for the evening. Now, the top 6 finishers in this race transfer to the feature.
Yes, they certainly do, and this is going to give us a good indication of the feature because the first and second fastest qualifiers start in the front row. We're going to see if these guys who wins between these two, number 1, and if they can pull away from the rest of the pack. If they pull away quite a ways, we're going to know that the top 6 guys in the feature are going to have a big advantage.
Could be a prelude to what we see in the 30-lap feature here in the 10-lap semi. Here they come down for the start. It is Irwin with a big jump. The green flag comes out. Michener falls into second position, and Tolsma into third. They race through turn number 2, and we're back to yellow, and whoop, we almost had a a bad situation. Well, they're still trying to crash, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Some of the guys did not see the yellow that came out before Dick St. John. He finally just, he bumped the car in front of him. He had to back off. Just a chain reaction. Somebody bumped him from behind and turned him around. Luckily, he didn't hit anything. He'll be able to get restarted. And I believe in a situation like that, they'll probably give him his position back.
Yep. And the tow truck has now come to the aid of Dick St. John to give him a push off.
He'll get that thing. He's not real happy with what happened back there, but he, in quite all honesty, he did not see the yellow flag came out. The guy behind him did not see it, so everybody just kind of got caught up in chain reaction, and that's what happened. I think they thought that Irwin just got too big a jump on Michener right there. They wanted to start that over again, try it again, so they turned the yellow flag on, as we've explained many times, about now, to give the guys a chance coming off of turn 4 to see it. And you can see right there was already some bumping and banging. I don't think that had anything to do with the yellow coming out. And St. John, now that time it did have. St. John was still on the throttle, and I couldn't tell who that was that banged. It might have been Boyce.
Yeah. Anyway, St. John is underway once again and back to his assigned position as we take a second look at it.
Yeah, it was Mark Boyce. He hit him. He just came along and tapped him a little bit. St. John was already turned a little bit sideways when he hit him, which was caused him to turn all the way around.
Yeah, Tony Stewart had completely made the pass on Michener when they crossed the line, and that's the thing that the starter did not particularly care for. And so now the USAC official goes out onto the backstretch. Is he telling?
Yes, he's telling him to go to the rear, and Mr. St. John wanted to go up there and let somebody know that he wasn't happy having to start on the back of this race, I think, and that's what that was all about. But the official was telling him to go to the back.
And they're not going to get the green flag this time because they are not in their proper starting position.
Well, we're talking about the 41 car. Don Cumberworth, this guy that worked on this car a lot. He's got a 4 bypass surgery, and we want to wish him well.
We're going to take a quick break while they get properly lined up for the semi-feature race. We'll be right back with the 10-lapper here on Thunder.
An army of criminals has taken over. He's outnumbered 1,000,000 to 1. So what? Jackie Chan, Super Cop, rated R. Starts Friday, July 26th.
Ever wonder what makes Ken Griffey Jr. so sweet?
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
It's his honey frosted Wheaties, frosted flakes with a grand slam taste.
You know, you should smile more.
Honey frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy. If you do this, you need this. If you get these, you need these. Forget Band-Aids, tape, and gauze. Spiraflex Abrasion, Skin Saver, and blister dressings get you back in the action fast because Spiraflex helps you heal faster, reduces pain and scarring, and protects up to 7 days. Spiraflex Abrasion, Skin Saver, and blister dressings are now available in the first aid section of a store near you.
Now, there's a brand new motor oil made to handle the stresses on your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-road driving. Extreme temperatures. Especially towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get a synthetic blend that can take the punishment. 4x4. It's new from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines.
Standing by for the start of the semi-feature race here. 10 laps of racing. There is Larry Curry, who is watching his driver Andy Michener on the outside of the front row in this race, which is just about set to go. They've been given the 1 lap to go signal.
Curry's been working pretty hard on that race car. They haven't had much luck. As a matter of fact, I don't think they've finished a race with it all year long. So it's been a tough year for him. But the race car's been fast.
And of course, he directed the operations for Menard Racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and in the other IRL events. And we'll be doing likewise at New Hampshire and in Las Vegas coming up. Now we're set to go with the 10-lap semi-feature. Let's see if they get a better start this time than they did last time. Irwin and Michener on the front row. Looks, we got a problem.
Got nothing serious. Car sideways. Luckily, not much happened there, but that could have been real bad. and I believe that was Brian Gerster who got up over a wheel first. That's Jeff Hunt in the 6 car that's sitting there sideways. He's just kind of a victim of circumstances as he got kind of tangled up in that whole thing. But Brian Gerster went over a wheel. He was the first black car you saw up in the air there. And again, St. John is sitting there. As they're coming off of this corner, looks like Gerster just gets a little bit higher. Maybe the white car came down just a little bit, but he got way up in the air, almost got upside down. Howerton does a spin to get out of the way. Hines kind of runs into Hunt, gives him a little nudge there, and then along came St. John and just kind of says, oops, sorry, guys.
Second look at it. Watch the second row for the trouble to develop. That is Gerster on the inside, way up on the wheel, but
they just got too close. I don't think either one of them moved all that much. They were just too close, just a little slight wiggle there, and Gerster got up over the wheel. Everybody behind him was just trying to save themselves by throwing the car sideways and getting out of the way. I don't think there was a whole lot of damage.
No, I don't think there was a whole lot of damage, and so most people, if not everybody, will be able to be pushed off for the restart. We'll take another break and be back in just a moment at IRP.
I can't believe he's an Olympic winner. Hurry up, he'll be here soon. Johnny Harris won?
You can be an Olympic winner, too, playing McDonald's when the U.S. wins, you win game.
He won at Atlanta? No, McDonald's.
Buy selected favorites like Arch Deluxe, and you can win big prizes instantly. Trips, $1 million.
Here he comes.
Or a new Pontiac Grand Prix.
Yeah, I brought home a dose for you, baby.
Oh, yeah. Get into McDonald's and get into the games.
So, he won a medal?
It's a trip to paradise, and this man has lost his vacation money. And so has he. This man was carrying cash. But he insisted on American Express traveler's checks. So while he had nobody to turn to, this man called the people at American Express as he tried to contact someone back home. With just one phone call, American Express can refund your lost or stolen traveler's checks just about any time, any place. Don't take chances. Take American Express traveler's checks.
Now, a brief on the Olympic Games from Haynes.
At the first games, courageous athletes competed without clothes. Think how tough that was for announcers.
And a tall guy is passing the man with the mole. Or is that a freckle? Wait, here comes a bald guy on the outside.
If they had Haynes back then, all those great styles and colors would have made it easier to tell them apart.
I see the Spartans are sporting black boxer briefs, and the Phoenicians are once again in purple.
I'm Michael Jordan, and you've been briefed.
Still trying to get the cars aligned for the semi-feature. We had a bit of a skirmish here on the main straightaway as they come down to take the flag, but we should be getting the green flag here before long. You know, our Thunder Series started off at Ventura following the Skull Western States Midgets earlier this year. Well, let's see how their most recent event went. They were in Bakersfield, California, just this past weekend. Time trials, Billy Boat blew the engine on his number 15 car, forcing him to jump into Larry Brown's number 36X machine for the feature. The 30-lap main event began with a big crash as Billy's brother Mike and Shane Scully both flipped down the front stretch. Both drivers, however, were okay. When racing finally resumed on the third restart, it was Scott Hansen grabbing the early lead. Then on lap 8, Sleepy Trip moved by Hansen and began a quest to extend his record to 99 career Western States Midget feature wins. However, Boat would deny Trip of his first victory since May of '95 as he passed Sleepy on the white flag lap to post his 9th victory of the season. So not a great deal has changed. Billy Boat continues to win out there, and they also have some racing in the Western States Midget Series at Ventura, California this Saturday. The National Skull Midgets will go over to Sumner, Illinois on Saturday, and of course the regular Speedrome Midgets run at the Indianapolis Speedrome on Friday night. Here's Dave.
A lot of things have changed in the life of this guy since we last saw him on a Thunder show. Steve Reeves, 92 and 93 champion in the USAC Midget division, and coming back to IRP to cut some laps. What's up?
Yeah, we come back. We tested the Claver Girl Busch car here on Monday and Tuesday. Had a real good test. We were real happy with it. And hopefully we're going to come back and run up front here in the Busch race.
Use any of that experience that you got here in the open wheel cars to good advantage, or does it help you at all with the big cars?
We sure can't drive in there as deep with that heavy race car, but no,
I think it's helped us a lot. The racetrack here really changes with temperature, and I think that's going to help us. We were on a nighttime race. We qualified during the day, so I think what I learned here at this racetrack might help us out a little bit.
All right, man, good luck. We got a heck of a race going on. Let's get to it, guys.
Jeff Howerton pulls out of competition. He was running in 4th spot up front. There is Howerton as he's dropped out down to the inside of the track. Up front, it is Kenny Irwin, followed by Andy Michener, and then Randy Tolsma.
And those three guys have pulled away to a half a straightaway lead over everybody else. Those guys really on the throttle and really running fast on this racetrack. We don't have a clock on them right now, but they've only run a couple laps and really have jerked away from everybody else.
Boyce, Pierce, and Hines are back in the second group along with some other cars. We'll keep our eye on those guys while we watch up front. It is still the same as Kenny Irwin continues to lead the race. Here comes the second group. That's Mark Boyce, followed now by Andy Pierce.
Andy Pierce, that's exactly right. The 6th car is Jeff Hunt. He's the guy that's the odd man out. He's got to gain a spot in order to get into the feature race. That's Brian Kirster in the 30 car down under Andy Pierce. Andy Pierce has had a great run here recently, but it's all been on the dirt. He's been running up front, winning some races, but most of those races have been on the dirt, not on the pavement.
Jeff Hunt is in the 6th car, and he needs to move up one position to get into the feature race. Mark Boyce, the young man from Noblesville, Indiana, who's gaining a lot of experience in the Midgets this year, is running in 4th spot. Now the battle for 5th as Gerster once again tries on Andy Pierce. And Pierce, meanwhile, takes a look to the inside of Boyce.
Everybody seems like Boyce is holding everybody up. Oh, Andy Pierce is way low on the racetrack down there. That's going to cost him some ground, as we see right there. Oh, boy, he and Jeff Hunt almost get together. But he gives Jeff Hunt that 6th and very important position.
Wow, so Pierce drops way back there with that move on Mark Boyce. Meanwhile, we'll watch Brian Gerster come off the corner. He's going to win the battle in turn number 1, and he goes into 4th position. So Boyce is 5th now, and in 6th is Jeff Hunt. It is Andy Pierce, the odd man out.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Those guys are all battling for those final transfer positions as the first 3 cars are just absolutely gone and still running just left of 1, 2, and 3.
Gerster in the 30 car. Mark Boyce, Jeff Hunt, Andy Pierce. Pierce just cannot make the run on Jeff Hunt now.
That one mistake that he made. Now that he might have a chance. No, Jeff Hunt does a nice job. Pulls down to the inside, right back up in front of Boyce. So he's now got a 1-car cushion. He looks like he'll probably make the feature. Boyce is the one that's going to have to protect that 6th and final position. Andy Pierce is going to find a way around.
And there's just over a lap and a half to go. The white flag comes out here on the main straightaway for the group of 3 running up front. And now the second group will be coming down to get the white flag. Watch the car at the back of this group. That is Mark Boyce running in 6th, and Andy Pierce running in 7th.
Yeah, you're right. And Pierce is going to have to make his move. Here's the checkered flag.
Irwin wins easily. Michener 2nd. Randy Tolsma 3rd. They're all spread out. No battle there. Let's see how this final battle goes. And oh, Boyce loses it coming off the corner, but he's still going to make the feature. Oh, way to go, Mark. And we got a spin down in turn 1. That's Jeff Hunt.
Jeff Hunt crashes after the yellow flag. I don't know whether the engine went away.
Looks like he's got some kind of problem, yeah.
The engine must have blown up on that thing or something, because he was in the straightaway when he got lost it. But I'll tell you what happened was Boyce got so sideways and scared Andy Pierce so bad, Pierce pulled out of the throttle, and then when he realized he wasn't going to crash, he didn't have the horsepower to pull by him.
And Mark Boyce finishes in 6th position and goes to the feature. Here it is once again.
Watch right here. As Boyce comes around here, he just loses. This flat gets sideways. Andy Pierce climbs on the brakes, thinking he's going to go ahead and spin, and when he realizes Boyce is going to save it, he didn't have time to get back on the throttle and beat him. Now they're both trying to miss Jeff Hunt as he's, oh yeah, you can see oil and everything else coming out.
Yeah, the engine or something mechanically let go on that car to put Jeff Hunt into the wall. So if he can't go, Andy Pierce is going to make the feature anyway.
Yep, and his heart can start beating again.
That's right. There is Kenny Irwin Jr., who's had a tough night, but he does win the semi-feature. That means he gets his qualifying time back and still has a good starting position for the feature coming up.
explosive, uncontrollable. It's 0 to 300 or 0 to oblivion in a heartbeat. It's the fastest, often most terrifying few seconds in sport, and anything can happen. Now, for the first time, you can own the most spectacular collection of crashes, crunches, and things gone terribly wrong. With Crash and Crunch Video, see nitro-belching quarter-mile monsters, soaring top fuel hydros, stock cars, door slammers, and more. Order Crash and Crunch today and receive absolutely free nighttime fuel and fire and track freaks, featuring high-octane explosions, rolling fireballs, jet dragsters, and other freaks of the strip. To slow down after watching these videos, you better pack a chute. Order today and receive all 3 videos for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. These videos are going fast, so order now. Call 1-800-664-5600 or send check or money order to the address on the screen. Satisfaction guaranteed.
For years, ESPN has been working to improve sports for the fan.
With this new helmet, ESPN commentators can interview a batter while he's at the plate. Slugger Mickey Mantle demonstrates.
Hey, Mick. Can you hear us, Mick? Is this distracting?
Boycotted by players, the helmet did lead to a breakthrough in coverage for all sports. ESPN Net Sports Zone. With Peter Gammon's baseball column, player profiles, everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN Net Sports Zone. Technology for you.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park on ESPN2's Thunder. A lot of cleanup going on down there in turn number 1, and this is the reason why. At the checkered flag, Jeff Hunt, right at the line, Larry.
Right at the line. You look at all the stuff coming out of there. That's blue smoke is definitely not good. You can see the oil actually spilling out all over. He got it all over the place. He did a nice job not to hit the wall any harder than he did, just to keep that thing straight, because the engine actually finally locked up and turned him around. So there's oil everywhere, and they're going to have to clean up, do some cleanup on that stuff.
That was the Ralph Potter car driven by Jeff Hunt, who finished 5th. Kenny Irwin Jr., Andy Michener, Randy Tolzman, Brian Gerster are the top 4. Hunt finishes 5th, and Mark Boyce is in 6th position. Let's go down to Dave and talk to Kenny.
All right, Kenny Irwin missed all the excitement there on the last lap, but did find a date. Miss wins. He's got the right shirt on here. First of all, congratulations. You said it was going to be easy to pull that thing off in the semi, and it looked like it was relatively so.
Well, I don't think so. The start of that race, I didn't know how many times we were going to have to start it. I got 2 good starts and 1 bad start, but, you know, that Ford motor just runs. I mean, I think it's the fastest thing here down the straightaway. And, you know, Bobby does a good job getting the chassis right, so why shouldn't we win every one, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Why shouldn't you win the main event? All you got to do is pass those, 5 guys in front of you now, right? What's it going to take to do that now? Is the car right?
The car's pretty close. You know, you got good guys up in front of us. Stewart, Michener, I mean, everybody. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a good race.
You mentioned Ford. You got a Ford engine in that Midget, and I hear the Ford guys are going to give you a test. I keep reading about a truck deal, and I know you don't like to brag about this because you want to focus on winning the Midget championship, but everybody's talking about what's Kenny going to do. What's the scoop on the test in the truck future?
Well, Ford has set up a test to test with Butch Miller next week, and you know, I just think it's a great opportunity for me just to get a chance, and you know, I'm looking forward to it. I have no idea what's going to happen, if anything, but you know, I'll take any chance I can get like that.
Kind of nice to know you're on their list anyway.
There is, yeah.
All right, good luck with that. They're cleaning up the racetrack a little bit here. Kenny's got to go get ready for the main event. We'll take a break and come back with more. It's Thunder, it's live, it's Wednesday night, and we are at IRP. Stay with us.
In the crime capital of the world, where an army of criminals has taken over, there's never a cop around when you need one. But when this cop's around, one is all you need. But now, outnumbered and outgunned, even the toughest of cops could use a little help.
Sorry.
Jackie Chan. Super Cop. Rated R.
Starts Friday, July 26th.
General Mills announces lower prices every day on many of your favorite cereals and sizes. General Mills, great value guaranteed every day.
Coors Light, the silver bullet, is shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Tap the Rockies!
Good boy. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Tony Stewart is building himself quite a fan club. He has several fans here tonight with their banners and their posters. He'll be starting 4th in tonight's race. Well, it's the Stoops Freightliner Sprint Car Series on Thunder next Wednesday night from here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The thing to note, though, is we'll be on an hour later than normal. We'll be on at 10:30 Eastern Time from right here at IRP. Andy Michener gets set for the 30-lap feature, which is coming up here in just a moment. He will be starting 5th in this race. But did you know that Andy Michener comes from a family who has a great history in auto racing? Here's Donald Davis.
Fans, how about a nice welcome for...
When Andy Michener took part in the rookie orientation program at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this past May, he wasn't the first Michener ever to appear as a participant. 30 years ago, his father and grandfather were car owners. And in fact, today's Patrick Racing team started out as Micheners. The 1966 500 is remembered for the huge accident right at the start, which resulted in no injuries, but which took out 11 cars. One of them, driven by rookie Larry Dixon, was the Michener Petroleum Special. Chief Mechanic, Steve Stapp. In 1970, the Micheners almost won the pole as their Patrick Petroleum Special, driven by Johnny Rutherford, failed to nudge Al Unser in qualifications by just 1/1000th of a second. That remains as the closest ever in history. And Rutherford's crew chief was Mike Devon, who today is USAC's technical director. By 1973, the team had transformed into Patrick Racing. And when Gordon Johncock rolled into victory lane after that year's rain-shortened 500, the Micheners were still part owners. So when young Andy Michener started racing USAC Midgets a few seasons ago, Father Joe Michener knew plenty about owning race cars.
Hey, Grandpa and Joe would be proud to see the Michener name flying on the Menard car tonight here with Andy, the grandson and son, doing the business. Dad's off riding his Harley. He's not here tonight for the show. My question to you is, what about the main event? Can you get this thing just a little bit better and do something with Irwin and the boys?
I think so. We went out there with a full fuel load race setup on it, and we returned some pretty good times. We started out with a little bit of a push, but I'm glad we ran the last chance feature so we can figure out what the car wanted. You know, we just got to get up to the front and see if we can get a good break and be smooth on the tires, and, you know, good Lord willing, you know, I think we're overdue for a win, and I sure would like to win tonight.
Let me take you back. You, of course, grew up around the racing game, particularly the IndyCar game. Has that always been a dream for you? Has this always been considered a step to Indy?
Honestly, you know, I started out in motocross, of course, and when I think I was the age of 16, my dad kind of pointing me this way and said, you know, what do you think about doing it? And I said, I don't want nothing to do with the cars. I'm kind of content on the motocross, but as you get older, your body kind of gets a little wiser, I guess. And so, you know, we jumped into these, and it has always been, since I started to get to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you know, with my grandfather and my dad, and always been there. It's just a dream of mine, you know, to get there. So, you know, we're working on that, and we have some other things in the program right now too. So, you know, it's just going to be a matter of patience and see which avenue we like to go down, and hopefully that will present itself here pretty soon.
In other words, here's a guy who's going to get his shot in one of those IRL cars soon. Andy, good luck in the feature tonight. Andy Michener, we're going to take a break and come back with that main event, and I see Mini Cup cars back over here. I wonder if we're going to get a chance to look at those too as we come to Indianapolis Raceway Park for the sound of thunder. We'll be right back.
My favorite place, Burger King. Mom and Dad had a special surprise waiting for me. It was Quasimodo.
Now your kids can get all 4 puppets. From Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, just $1.99 each with any value meal.
And then I got carried away just like Moto. Okay, maybe the last part didn't really happen.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame Puppets, only at Burger King.
If you do this, you need this. If you get these, you need these. Forget Band-Aids, tape, and gauze. Spiraflex Abrasion, Skin Saver, and Blister Dressings get you back in the action fast because Spiraflex helps you heal faster, reduces pain and scarring, and protects up to 7 days. Spiraflex Abrasion, Skin Saver, and Blister Dressings are now available in the first aid section of a store near you.
USAC National Skoal Midget Series is about to wind up here tonight with a 30-lap feature race at Indianapolis Raceway Park. On September the 4th, Wednesday night, we will be live at the Terre Haute Action Track for a traditional race that's been going on since 1953, the Hut 100. 11 rows of 3. The midgets come down on the half-mile dirt track for 9:30 racing action. Back in 1985 was the last time we televised the Hut 100, and somewhere in this mess, ladies and gentlemen, was a number 9 car driven by Larry Rice. And look what happens. A big ball of flame into turn number 2, and Rice showed his driving proficiency by steering the car into the pits with his feet.
Hey, most of the guys I drove for during my career thought I was better with my feet than I was with my hands.
Some of the guys that have won the Hut 100 over the years: Tony Bettenhausen, Don Branson, A.J. Foyt, Mel Kenyon, the list goes on and on. Rich Vogler will be there on September the 4th for the Hut 100 this year. And one guy who has led an incredible number of laps at Terre Haute this year and last year, standing by with Dave.
Well, I think the number is 136 consecutive laps at Terre Haute for Tony Stewart, but his driving career has just suffered a terrible setback, ladies and gentlemen. The Mini Cup race is on hold. We're going to get the feature in because the weather is a concern. Tony Stewart, are you still going to be able to get in that Mini Cup car and perhaps carve a new future for yourself?
Well, I don't know about carving a new future, but I thought I got fired from my first stock car ride a minute ago, but you know, we're ready to go. You know, the Midget's been running good tonight, and I got to thank Steve Lewis and Bob East for letting me come out and run this thing part-time when I have time, and thank John Menard and Harry Renier for letting me come out and play.
Is it fun? Is it just play for you at this point? What do you gain by coming out and racing the Midget, given where your career's headed?
Well, to be honest, the main reason I've been doing it is just to stay sharp. You know, with 5 IRL races in the 96 calendar year and our part-time Busch schedule, that only gives me about 20 or 25 races. So to go from 106 races that we ran last year down to 25 or 26 this year just isn't going to keep me happy right now. So, you know, I do this just to stay sharp. I mean, these cars are so quick reacting that the more laps you can run in this, the more I feel like I stay on top of the game. And, you know, I do a lot of testing with both the IRL and the Busch car, but testing's one thing and driving laps is one thing, but racing's another, and I feel like I'm staying sharper with the racing.
I got a kick out of the article in the local paper about Darrell Waltrip. He was going to sneak in and get this young kid named Tony Stewart to drive his race car and found out that you were already a little bit busy. Did you get a chance to test that car, or what happened there?
Well, I went out and hung out with him last week at the Speedway, and I was out today with around Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte and Kenny Schrader, so I'm just hanging around and learning a little bit. I've got a lot to learn about these stock cars. I think I got the IRL deal figured out pretty decent, but the stock car program has really been the toughest learning curve I've gone through, so I'm just hanging around the guys that have some experience, and they're all giving me little hints here that I hope will help me each week.
All right, good luck at the feature. Man on the move, Tony Stewart, headed for the main event tonight. That is next on the card. We'll take a break and come back and show it to you live here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Stay tuned for the Thunder on ESPN2.
Jesse, you're next.
I'm all yours.
Save it for the stage, Romeo.
Carol always gives it to me straight. Like when she told me about my...
I told him about Head & Shoulders. Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they could come back. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming. You see the difference? You look great.
Thanks, but will it get me this part?
Couldn't hurt.
Head and Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Hey, break a leg.
I don't see them. I think we're safe.
Of course we're safe. We're in my Subaru Outback.
I know the world's first sport utility wagon.
This beauty's got dual airbags, full-time all-wheel drive, and it's more stable in the turn than a Blazer.
What else you got?
Get a braking and an Explorer. That's my Subaru Outback. The world's first sport utility wagon.
Did soccer discover America, or did America finally discover soccer? Either way, soccer is here in a big way, and it's here for good. The MLS on ESPN2. Action continues when the Kansas City Wiz take on the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Tomorrow at 7:30 on ESPN2. The MLS on ESPN2. Finally, America gets it.
The cars making their way onto the racetrack for the 13-lap feature. Let's take a look at the results of the heat races and the semi-feature that have already been conducted here at Indianapolis Raceway Park on ESPN2's Thunder. On heat race number 1, David Bridges was the winner. Lou Ciccone, Tracy Hines, and Johnny Parsons were the other transferees to the feature. Second heat race, Tim Schutt, Carl Olson, Jeff Sands, and Roy Carruthers. The third heat race went to Kenneth Nichols. Jimmy McCune finished second, followed by Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman. The fourth heat race belonged all to Nate Law, followed by Doug Coletta, Jack Hewitt, and Ronnie John Cox finishing in the transfer positions. And then the 10-lap semi-feature event was won by Kenny Irwin Jr. that we talked to just a few moments ago. And again, all of those who made the transfer into the feature race get their qualifying times back, and that's how the lineup for the feature is determined. Michener, Tolsman, Gerster were also transferees from the semi-feature, as were Jeff Hunt and Mark Boyce.
And the people eligible for the wins money, it's $1,000 tonight, are Kenny Irwin, David Bridges, and Nate Law as when our drawing. So it's only $1,000 this week because it was won the last time out, but Wins Friction Proving, proud sponsor of the Thunder Series.
All right, it's lightning and thundering around, so we're kind of putting a push here on the start of this race. Dave, what's going on down in your area?
Well, everybody's hustling to get the cars out there because of the concern about the weather. I've been predicting for an hour and a half that it would not rain until the checkered flag. But I'll tell you what's impressed me most tonight. First of all, the new faces, the performance of the youngsters who have won heat races here tonight. Some guys we've not seen before, not just winning races, but running away with races. Equally as impressive, the tremendous competition. I mean, every race we've had tonight has seen a 3, 4, 5-car battle for transfer positions. Now, what we have is the cream sort of rising here. You've got Irwin, Michener, Stewart, Coletta all getting into the feature, getting their qualifying times back, and they're going to be starting inverted up front. And I think it's going to be real interesting to see whether this young talent that have had the opportunity to prove themselves thus far tonight can make something stick in the main event. I don't know, Larry, what do you think? You see any surprises emerging here this evening in the top 5?
I don't really see any surprises emerging. These guys that are starting up front are going to be tough to beat from anybody back of those first 3 or 4 rows. John Parsons with a world of experience. Doug Coletta is going to be starting right up there. Tony Stewart, Andy Michener. I mean, those 4 or 5 guys have the most experience. They have as good a race car as anybody at the racetrack, and I just think it's going to be a mighty big chore for some of these young guys to come through the traffic and get around the likes of those guys.
Starting in the last row, Roy Carruthers, and he carries our on-board camera for us tonight, courtesy of the CarQuest people, and we certainly, again, take our hats off to them for providing the funding of the CarQuest onboard camera. For your nearest CarQuest Auto Parts store, just pick up the phone and dial 1-800-492-PART.
And of course, Roy Carruthers is a great story because this young guy overcame a battle with cancer a couple of years ago, has come back to win races, run up front, and looks healthier and feels, he tells me, as good as he's ever felt in his life. So it's a great story for him and for the rest of us to know that you can overcome this one.
I remember seeing him win the Hoosier Dome Invitational at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis a few years ago, and boy, what a great moment was that in his career.
Well, and that was right after he had come back from his really bad illness when they didn't think he might even survive at one point. And it was just immediately after that. I think it was one of the first 2 or 3 races that he ran. Of course, the Hoosier Dome is a big race, a well-paying race, probably the biggest race he ever won money-wise as well. So that was a big thrill.
It's nice and warm in the dome when it's 0 outside here in Indianapolis.
That's right. That's right. I want to say, offer our condolences to the Al Watts family. Al Watts used to be a mechanic for the Shannon brothers. A few years ago, he passed away this week. We want to offer condolences to him and just say hi to Bob Hickman, Ron Eaton, some of the other guys that aren't feeling too good out there. Come on back to the racetrack.
Well, there's the tread cam that will provide some exciting shots here in the opening lap, I'm sure. And there, once again, is the onboard camera carried by Roy Carruthers, number 44.
They've got a sponsor on that race car that Aerodyne. It's really the sponsor that enabled them to bring the race car out here. They wanted to be sure that we say hello to those guys and thank them for helping them get to the racetrack.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup now for the big 30-lap feature. Jimmy McCune on the pole, car number 48. Johnny Parsons alongside in 93. Doug Coletta will start with Tony Stewart in row number 2. Third row, Andy Michener and Kenny Irwin Jr. The fourth row, Randy Tolsma and Lou Saccone Jr. Fifth row, Carl Olson, Brian Gerster. Row 6, Tim Schutt and Kenneth Nichols. Seventh row, Ronnie John Cox and Tracy Hines. In the 8th row, Jeff Sands and Ryan Newman. Row 9, Nate Law and David Bridges, couple of heat race winners. 10th row, Mark Boyce, Jack Hewitt, and in the 11th row, Roy Carruthers and Andy Pierce. Now, the pole sitter has been moved to the rear of the field because he stopped after he was pushed off, and that causes a shake-up in the starting lineup, and so Doug Coletta will now assume the pole position.
That's a great break for Doug Coletta. He's getting to start on the front row. He and Parsons side by side should make this start pretty interesting.
Green flag comes out. Boy, Coletta got quite a jump there as they headed toward the green flag and has the lead going into the first turn. Andy Michener has jumped in to make that...
yeah, that's Andy Michener. He jumped into second place. He jumped right past Parsons into second place. The green flag stayed out. Saccone way high, slowing down over there on the back straightaway. But Coletta has the lead from the pole position.
Johnny Parsons running in third position. But up front it is Doug Coletta. And boy, has he had a fantastic run on the pavement this year in that car, both himself and others. And he has the lead here in the 30-lap feature race. Johnny Parsons running in third position. Back and forth is Irwin, and Stewart is running sixth.
Boy, Irwin trying around Johnny Parsons. Randy Tolsma right behind him in the other white car. But Doug Coletta not pulling away from anybody in that first 2, 4, 6, 7, or 8 cars.
Andy Michener keeping Coletta within the car length or so as a little bit of distance opens up between second and third position. Parsons has about a 3 or 4 car length disadvantage now on Andy Michener as Randy Tolsma and Kenny Irwin Jr. battle. Now Michener ready perhaps to make the move. Oh, man, they go through the corner side by side and Coletta comes out with the lead.
He tried. The bad thing about that for Andy Michener is if you get your tires overheated, it could cause you to slow down, and now there goes Irwin. He gets around Parsons. He moves into contention.
Kenny Irwin moves up to third place. Johnny Parsons back to fourth, and now Tony Stewart tried to make a move there on Randy Tolsma position, but he's still working on him. Now he gets him. That's Tony Stewart making the move on Randy Tolsma and going into fifth.
Tolsma got wide. He got high coming off the corner. When he got high, that just gave Stewart enough room to move down under him.
This is Tim Schutt's onboard camera, and oh, he bumps wheels with Jimmy McCune. And McCune is up into the fence in turn 4.
He was up to 12th position. He'd come from last to 12th. When that little incident happened, we had a great view and a tough break for young Jimmy McCune as he had already passed about 6 or 7 cars.
Wow, well, that's going to tighten up the field here for the restart, but unfortunately it means the end for Jimmy McCune, who had to start from the rear and had moved up quickly until he bumped wheels with Tim Schutt and then slid into the outside retaining wall. Under caution at IRP, a break, and then the resumption of the 30-lap feature.
When I started losing my hair...
Hi, Puddin'. Oh, if you are gorgeous. Lauren. Talk to me.
If you don't stop someone from driving drunk, who will?
Come on, talk to me.
Do whatever it takes.
Come on, you can do it.
So you're a sports fan. Baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. Heck, you even like bowling. So where can you go to watch it all? TK O'Malley's, that's where. Here you can grab a bite to eat. They offer a full menu featuring nightly specials. Relax with a drink, shoot some pool. And you can do all this while watching your favorite team. Now with a new location in North Dartmouth.
TK O'Malley, and all the good sports are here.
Sunday Night Boxing on ESPN2.
Under caution, 5 laps completed out of 30 in our feature race here at IRP. Kalitta's your leader, Andy Michener running second, then Kenny Irwin Jr., Johnny Parsons, and Tony Stewart. 6 through 10, Randy Tolsma, Brian Gerster, Carl Olson, Kenneth Nichols, and Tracy Hines. Now the 44 car of Roy Carruthers has been black flagged. He's into the pit area trying to converse with his crew and the USAC officials, but it may be a terminal situation here for Roy Carruthers. In any case, we certainly do appreciate him carrying the onboard camera, one of 2 for us this evening. Now, speaking of onboard cameras, boy, did we have an incredible view of what happened to this guy, Jimmy McCune. The onboard camera being carried by Tim Schutt.
They're heading down into turn 3. Jimmy McCune, remember, has come up about 8 spots already. He's got a little bit of a run on Timmy Schutt. He tries to run in low, give him that incredible little slide job that we've seen so many times where you slide up in front of somebody. He's not up far enough. He comes up and he hits the left rear with his right front. He just can't hang on. He gets the thing all out of shape. He runs up, bangs into the fence right there where we can't quite see it, but he hits the fence with the right front, just couldn't keep it under control, and then he just kind of a half spin, but he tore up the front end pretty bad on that car.
Let's talk with him, Dave Despain.
Actually, Carruthers has an oil leak. We've got Lou Ciccone. It's nice to see the Ciccone family back here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Unfortunately, the main event didn't last long for Liquid Lou. What happened anyway?
I was out on slow, and I think the car loaded up. If it didn't load up and not clean out, then there was a fuel problem. We're not sure. We're trying to check it now, but it's really unfortunate. The car really felt good in the slow laps when I was goosing a little bit, and I really think we would have been responsible.
Looks like they're going to go without you, though, huh?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. Tell Bob we said hi. We're racing.
Green flag is out once again. They run down into turn number 1, and Kenny Irwin takes a look to the inside, and Andy Michener, as Doug Kalitta continues to maintain the lead.
He thought Michener was going to take a shot at him at the inside. If Michener moved down just 1 car width, Kenny Irwin was going to pull right up there and take the racetrack away from him. Michener thought better of it, pulled right up behind Kalitta, and he saved second spot.
It's Parsons, Stewart, and Tolsma running behind the 93 car, the 9 car of Kenny Irwin. There they are, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Look at Stewart get off of the corner. Boy, did he get a shot off of that corner, but he still didn't have the good enough handling down on the bottom of the racetrack to get by him. He had to pull right back up behind Parsons.
So Parsons maintains the 4th position as Tony Stewart will drop back in behind him. Randy Tolsma looks on. Brian Gerster there in the 30 car is running behind Tolsma.
All those guys up front run very, very well, very straight, trying to just save their tires a little bit. If they get a good jump, like Stewart did this while ago, they'll try to get past. But they've got to get a good jump off the corner, a big run down the straightaway, or else you just can't pass. It's very, very difficult to take that low groove and pass somebody. And look at Kalitta. He's pulled quarter of the straightaway out front right now.
Douglas Kalitta is checking out, folks. He is with a man on a mission. Here he comes down to complete lap number 9 of 30. Michener running in second and Kenny Irwin running third. Then this fourth, fifth, and sixth battle involves Tony Stewart, Johnny Parsons, and Randy Tolsma. There's Michener and Kenny Irwin in third.
Kenny Irwin has pulled just a little bit closer to Andy Michener. Michener right now running just too fast for him. He's chasing him, just can't quite catch him.
Michener comes into this race 8th in the point standings as we take a look at some of the other action behind, and that's Carl Olson, the 17 car.
Carl Olson, that 17 car, as they said, he's in New Zealand. They don't even have paved racetracks down there, and he's really running the best race I've ever seen him run on pavement. Oh, look at this. We got trouble down there. Who's that?
That's a car dropping to the inside of the racetrack. It looks like it's Randy Tolsma. Indeed it is. Tolsma down off of the racetrack onto the apron, and the caution flag comes out once again.
That's the Denny Lemers car, the car that Kevin Olson usually drives up north, up to Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Tolsma got a chance to drive it down here tonight, and unfortunately, the night came to an early end for him.
Boy, Randy has turned in some great performances here at this racetrack. He was running in 6th position when the problem developed on this car, and he pulled out of competition. So another caution has interrupted the racing here. We're exactly a third of the way through this event. 10 of the 30 laps have been completed. It is Kalitta, followed by Michener, Irwin, Stewart, and Johnny Parsons. We'll be right back.
Enter the Performance Zone with split-fire Performance V spark plugs.
You hit your passing gear, you're gone.
Experts say split-fire Performance V spark plugs mean more horsepower and better mileage.
The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Enter the Performance Zone only with split-fire Performance Vs, guaranteed. And now get triple platinum performance for the life of your car. New split-fire 3 spark plugs.
Tired of the way water sealers let your wood turn gray? We have news for you. Introducing Olympic Natural Look Protector Plus. It waterproofs, plus it's guaranteed to prevent graying for a minimum of 2 years. If your wood's already gray, cleaning first with Olympic Deck Cleaner is fast and easy. Then let Natural Look Protector Plus keep it looking natural, like no water sealer can. Guaranteed. Natural Look Protector Plus from Olympic.
When Michael Johnson was a baby, he wasn't fast. He hardly moved at all. How times have changed.
While growing up, my dream was to become the fastest man on earth, and I've worked toward that goal all of my life. But none of that would have been possible if I got high on drugs. The only thing I would have become was a loser, and I want to win. Don't you?
Champions in any field stay drug-free. If you need help, call this number today.
Back live at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the problem for Randy Tolsma, the muffler fell off of the race car. They're desperately trying to get it fixed and refired and get him back up here, but this does not look good. There is no push truck available. I think Tolsma may be done for the evening.
That was the official reason for the caution flag. They wouldn't have thrown it just because Randy had dropped down onto the apron, but the muffler was on the track. There are the top 10 as we complete 10 of 30 laps and as we get set to go back to racing. The field in turn number 4 being led by Kalitta, and Michener gets a big jump on him, but at the line, Kalitta holds him off.
Kalitta just did a terrific job. Andy Michener did everything he could do to get a jump on him, to get that final shot, get under him. Kalitta just had too much horsepower when he finally stepped to the throttle, pulled right on away from Andy Michener.
Irwin, Stewart, and Parsons are behind. And Stewart has, I thought for a while he was backing off, but I guess not. Parsons will make that Gerster coming up on it.
That's Gerster who's moved up into this. Parsons is the reason we didn't see him. He's going down to the inside. He's got a problem.
Parsons is off the pace in car number 93, the Mito Tank Lines car, and he is out of competition. Now it's Michener and Irwin, Stewart, and Gerster. The top 5 cars, and they're right together on the racetrack. Meanwhile, look what's going on behind second position, it is Kenny Irwin right now on the back bumper of Andy Michener as Coletta once again is pulling away.
It looks like Coletta's really got that thing dialed in. He really has things handled. And it looks like Kenny Irwin's a little bit faster. Oh, here he goes. He went right the inside. Can't quite squeeze him up. He's not going to make Andy Michener move over. I can guarantee you that.
This is going to be a good battle here. Let's continue to keep our eye on it for second position. Kenny Irwin, the leader of the point standings going into this event in the National Midget standings, and now he makes another attempt on Michener, but it is unsuccessful once again. Michener holds him off.
Stewart seems to be getting through turns 3 and 4 very, very well, getting a big run on him down that main straightaway, but can't quite get past him once he gets up. Whoa, look at this. Nichols on the outside of Carl Olson. Does Olson leave? Oh, man. I'm not sure he ever did see him, but Nichols got out of there just in time.
We saw, wasn't it Coletta make the outside pass there in turn 4 during a heat race, and Kenneth Nichols had ideas of doing the same thing, but could not make it work. We're watching Olson, Nichols, and Tracy Hines here, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and once again Nichols looks to the outside. Now Diamonds off and comes to the inside as we take a look from the onboard camera of Tim Shutt, and a great view there. As you can see, Nichols did make the pass on Olson, and now Hines does likewise.
He certainly did. That was a great move by Kenny Nichols as he flicked him on the outside. Is really what he did. Moved to the outside, made him think he was going to go out there. When Olson pulled up, he just diamond off the corner, got a big run on him and went on by.
Now Tim Shutt will take a look at the inside and try to pass Carl Olson, the Australian driver who spends his winters in Australia, which is summer over in this hemisphere, and driving here in the United States. Back up front, it is still Coletta, and here is second and third once again, Michener and Irwin.
Irwin's trying everything. He's just trying to find a way around. But Michener knows where the groove is. He knows where the fastest place on the racetrack is. He's not going to give that up easily. He's not going to take any cheap shots by Irwin. He's not going to let him fake him out of the groove by making him run lower or higher. He knows where the fastest place is. Irwin's going to have to try to make his race car work in the slower groove. Right now, he just can't quite do it.
Boy, the guy, though, that you got to really admire under these circumstances is Doug Coletta. He has just taken off from everybody, and he's been able to do so, although the field has been tightened up on 2 different occasions. Doug Coletta has a large lead on this second-place battle. Michener and Irwin continue to battle wheel to wheel with now less than 9 laps to go.
The risk that Kenny Irwin runs by keep trying to run that low groove is heating up that right rear tire. We say that a lot, but that is the worst enemy of a driver when he gets out of that groove. When he pulls low on the racetrack, the back tire seems to slide a little bit, and once he does, it just gets hot, and then it slows the race car down.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all running together. Carl Olson and Tim Shutt are in this, along with Brian Newman, Mark Boyce, and who else?
I think Hewitt's in that thing right there, too. So there's a lot of guys. I think Hewitt just went around. Tim Shutt just went around, I think.
Olson leads this group of cars off of car number 4. Turn number 4 there is the Shutt in-car camera.
That was David Bridges. That's David Bridges in the 11 car, who is right behind. This is Tim Shutt we're riding along with. David Bridges right in front of one of our heat race winners. Right in front of him is Brian Newman. And, of course, Olson is leading the pack in the yellow car.
Boy, David Bridges has gone to school here this evening and learned a lot. He won his heat race and now runs with this group of cars in the feature. Not having a great deal of luck moving up, but this young man is certainly learning a lot and is a driver to watch in the coming years. Less than 5 laps to go now.
It's such great experience just getting to run 30 laps for these young guys. A lot of times they come out here and run 1 8-lap piece race and 1 8-lap semi, and they're done for the day. But you get a chance to feel what the tires do. You get a chance to feel what all the competition does out there. It's nice for him to get a run for feature race like this. And David Bridges, he did exactly what you have to do. He stayed in line when somebody else made a mistake or moved down out of the groove. He took advantage of it. He moved right on up.
Nate Law and Andy Pierce are the 2 cars running at the rear of this group of cars. Olson continuing to hold them off with less than 3 laps to go, and this is the best battle on the racetrack right now as Doug Coletta has everything going his way. Bridges a little sideways there coming off the corner.
He was smoking that tire just a little bit as he's
watching from third in line there. And then Tim Shutt, Nate Law, and Andy Pierce. The white flag is coming up for the leader of the race, Doug Kalita. As we watch this battle off of corner number 4, they get the white flag. One more lap to go.
That's Kalita coming up right behind him. He's already caught up with this bunch of cars. Now, oh, look at this big crash.
And it's Tim Shutt, apparently. From our onboard camera, we can see that the car came down on all fours, but we have a red flag on the 28th lap of this race, and so Carl Olson also involved.
You can see Tim Shutt was okay. Boy, he threw that steering wheel. You can see he was not always right side up during that skirmish. As you can see from the onboard cameras, it was all different angles, pointed all different directions.
Well, looks like that the safety crew is going to go over to the Carl Olson car. Shutt is already out, and now Carl begins to come out of the car, so he apparently has not at least been seriously injured. May have had his bell rung just a little bit. Let's take a look at what happened.
All right, tagged wheels. That, I'm not sure, was that David Bridges in there behind him? And poor old Tim Shutt, he was up there just caught. He got way up, did a nose stand. That'd be great on some sort of a gymnastics stunt, but not too good in a race car.
Boy, he'd have gotten a 10 if he were down in Atlanta in the Olympics. Now, look at this.
He just got caught up in the wrong spot. The fencing did what it's supposed to do, though. Caught the race car, put him back down without too much damage. And I'm sure Tim Shutt, and we'll see what he saw.
This ought to be good.
This ought to be real good. David Bridges just gets down on the inside. He slides up, just catches the rear bumper, and turns Olson around. I mean, there's no question about what happened there. He just turned him around, and here comes Olson right back up in front of you, and you're just a spectator at that point. And black asphalt doesn't look too good from that position, does it?
Man, look at this thing. It finally comes over on all fours. Man, oh, man. What a ride by Tim Shutt, Dave.
Well, Tim Shutt, this is not the way we wanted to end the television program. Looked like you were pretty much a victim there, huh?
Yeah, those guys, I knew they were going to get, I had a feeling they were going to get themselves in trouble, and I kind of went to the high side in that deal because they all seemed to be running a little bit lower, and I thought maybe I could roll, you know, if there was anything that happened, I could roll around the outside of it, and there just wasn't any place to go.
So bottom line, how would you assess tonight in terms of what you've learned?
Is that a trick question? And what I've learned, it's just one of them deals. It's racing. It's going to happen. Not much you can do about it.
Not much you can do about it. We're glad to see you're okay, man. All right, Tim Shutt, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and assess what else has happened out here. Just an update on all the drivers involved. Right now, let's get in this quick commercial break and see what the outcome's going to be here as we bring you the thunder from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Yesterday, we went to my favorite place, Burger King. Mom and Dad had a special surprise waiting for me. It was Quasimodo.
Now your kids can get all 4 puppets. From Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, just $1.99 each with any value meal.
And then I got carried away just like Quasimodo. Okay, maybe the last part didn't really happen.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame puppets, only at Burger King.
2 convicts.
Talking about $5 million.
In it for their freedom.
I don't want that.
In it for their lives.
These people are trying to kill you.
In it together.
Till death do us part.
Whether they like it or not.
All right now.
When this is over, send me a steamy hot bubble bath. I hope you choke and drown on the bubbles.
Got a
Bled, rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Light, the silver bullet, it's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Well, we got to within 2 laps of the finish, and we had a big wreck and caused the red flag to come out. Here's how they're running at the moment. Doug Kalita, Andy Michener, Kenny Irwin Jr., Tony Stewart, and Brian Gerster are in the top 5. The second 5, Kenneth Nichols, Tracy Hines, David Bridges, Ryan Newman, and Nate Law. This is why we are under a red flag condition. We jump on board the car driven by Tim Shutt and ride with him, courtesy of our cage cam and take a wild ride into turn number 1.
Actually, they're coming off of turn number 3 and 4 here, and we're going to see this in real time. You're going to see what he sees and how fast everything can happen. Watch this. Back memories to me. I get the feeling in my heart when he was upside down.
And to quote a famous person, namely Dave Despain, who remarked during the truck race at Bristol not too long ago, boy, wrecking sure is noisy, right, Dave?
And no fun either, but the good news is every driver involved down there was okay. Carl Olson has climbed out. Hey, welcome to the United States of America. Is it any different crashing stateside than it is down under?
Nah, but this pavement stuff certainly gets you going a little bit more, you know, but I tell you, this LS car with a Brayton engine, it was working good. My crew been working flat out because we crashed this car at Richmond in that accident down there. And I tell you, we were working really good tonight. Danny Drynan helped us hit the car up, and everything was going good. And there's only 2 laps to go. I hate to see this happen, but someone just got in the back end of me.
Just give me a quick assessment of what you saw, what you felt, how the experience of going through that kind of an ordeal.
Well, I just felt someone get in the back end of me and spun me around. Then I just see the cars coming, and we got pretty high, I think. And Timmy climbed over a wheel, and he got up into the fence, and it was just a bad deal.
Glad to see you're okay, and let's hope the rest of your visit here is a little more pleasant than tonight, okay?
Thanks very much.
All right, Carl Olson up from New Zealand to do some business here at Indianapolis Raceway Park and out of business on lap 28.
All right, the car's being pushed off now. Before too long, we will be back to racing. There is Tim Schutt there on the left of your screen as he talks with members of his crew, and there is the Doug Kalita car that has just been a rocket ship in this race tonight.
Yes, it certainly has, and unless they dial themselves out, I don't think anybody else is going to dial themselves in order to beat him. I mean, it's that difficult to get around him. Unless they get some sort of a hole shot off of the restart, I don't see anybody being able to touch Doug Kalita. And unless Andy Michener, like I said, gets some sort of a little trick on that restart.
Yep, never know. Stand by, and we'll see what happens here in just a few minutes when the cars get pushed off. Let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping here. Normally, we would do these just about to go off the air, but we'll take care of them now since we have the opportunity. Speed Week over on the main Classic Network will recap all the activity in the world of motorsports this past week, and most of the news, quite frankly, was not good this past week, but we'll talk about it on Speed Week at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Friday night, Saturday morning. NASCAR today will be on at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday as the stage is set for the NASCAR Winston Cup race at Pocono. Dave Despain and Benny Parsons and the crew will bring you up to date on all the stuff in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Our next Thunder will be a week from tonight. It's the Stoops Freightliner Sprint Car Series right here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, but please note that our starting time will be 10:30. That's an hour later than normal, 10:30 Eastern Time. And coming up at the conclusion of this race, which should be in just a very few minutes, it will be RPM tonight. You can catch that show normally Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time and Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. RPM tonight with John Kernan and Kenny Mayne and the whole group. Thank you, Wheezy Engineering, for providing the platform up there from which we were able to show you the onboard camera shots, and we have had some dandies tonight.
Boy, we certainly have had some dandies tonight.
Doug Kalita, car number 21, the leader of this race as the field begins to assemble now for the restart, but we have time to take another break before the green flag comes out once again. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Bernstein's Budweiser King Top Fuel Dragster. Who said you need wings to fly?
Ever wonder what makes Ken Griffey Jr. so sweet?
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
It's his honey frosted Wheaties, frosted flakes with a Grand Slam taste.
You know, you should smile more.
Honey frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy.
There's still back there.
Don't worry, love. You're riding in the world's first sport utility wagon.
I am.
That's right. This here's the all-wheel drive Subaru Outback.
That's great.
You know, it's got more cargo space than a Passport.
Uh-huh.
The ground clearance of an Explorer.
Yeah, but...
Oh, did I mention, it gets much better gas mileage than a Jeep Cherokee.
Outback, you say?
Subaru Outback. The world's first sport utility wagon.
General Mills announces lower prices every day on many of your favorite cereals and sizes. General Mills, great value guaranteed every day.
We got 2 laps to go in the main event of the USAC Midgets here at IRP. There are the mini cup cars that were supposed to have an exhibition race for us tonight, but unfortunately because of weather and other things, we weren't able to get to their exhibition race. Earlier today, Brian Walker was a winner of an event here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Here's Dave Despang.
Well, it's a 2-lap shootout. Larry Curry's car's been sitting there all night with a shot at him. What do you think? Can anybody do anything with Khalid on the restart?
I don't know. He looks awful strong, but we're going to give it our best shot. And we just, those Menards, Midget, we want to get this thing in a good, solid finish. You know, we've had some pretty bad luck since we started running this thing, so we just want to get it home.
Been a heck of a night, hasn't it?
It's been one heck of a night. I think the fans saw some good racing, and looks like even the incidents, everybody got away clean, so that's always good.
Okay, that's Larry Curry. His car lighted up third on this restart as they get ready to see if anybody can do it. Kalita in one last shot.
One more lap to the green, and we talked to Larry Curry before this thing started today, and all he wanted to do was finish the race, and by golly, he could be looking at a win in addition to his finish, huh?
Well, he reiterated that right there. He just wants to bring her home in one piece. They've had so much bad luck, had that thing in a basket a couple of times, and had a good chance to win a couple of races, too, and just couldn't bring her on home. So he just wants to do that more than anything. The bad news is Jeff Sands is in between he and Kalita. That's going to make it very, very difficult for him to get his jump.
Yeah, there is a lap car between first and second, and that definitely is a detriment to Andy Michener in car number 2. Let's see how things go here on the restart. Well, they make quick work of Sands as he drops low on the track and allows the faster cars to go by. Here we go.
He's going to take a shot. If he gets in there, he gets in.
Oh, and slides up and bangs the wall, and everybody else is going to get through okay, and that could have been a real bad situation.
Wow. Well, he said he wanted to bring her home in one piece. Well, they brought her home in 99% of one piece, I think. But Michener had to give him that shot. He wanted to win this race. You got to give him an A for effort. But I tell you what, he could have caused one heck of a crash down there, too.
I thought he was going to get T-boned big time there and cause a real mess. But fortunately, everybody was able to get by him without further altercation. But Andy Michener is...
You know, Jeff Sands moved down, gave him the opportunity to really get a big run. He thought he had enough of a run, and he actually was pretty much around him. If Kalita would just let off, he could have slid up in front of him. Kalita didn't do that, and he had to climb on the brakes, and everybody was on the ball behind him, saw that happening, and moved down on the racetrack. It's the only thing that saved him right there.
And look how close Irwin was to collecting Michener as he drove it down in here a little too hard, got it sideways, couldn't save it, went up the racetrack, and right there, it was so close of him collecting Kenny Irwin.
If they had hit each other, then there would have been a mess.
Yeah, everybody behind, and everybody was behind except Kalita would have been scrambling to save their car and themselves. Well, Michener, as you can imagine, is quite dejected, but hey, Andy, good show. By golly, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You had one shot at it, and you took it, but it didn't work out.
Well, now then, it's going to be interesting to see if Kenny Irwin takes the same tactics on this restart. Jeff Sands was very much the gentleman as he moved down out of the way, knowing that he didn't want to interfere with the results of this race. He got way down out of the groove, let all those guys that were faster have a shot at the win, and that's good sportsmanship on his part.
So now Kenny Irwin Jr. will be in second, and Tony Stewart will be in third. Brian Gerster is in fourth position.
He certainly is, and those two Bob East, Steve Lewis, white number 9 and 91 cars, both those guys we know don't give up very easily, so they're going to be trying to figure out a way here in the last 2 laps to get into the front of the race.
Michener making the long walk back to the pit area and has the neck collar in hand.
Well, I'm not sure what Larry Curry's thinking right now. I'm sure he would have just as easily had a second, but that's the way it goes, I guess.
Here's Dave.
Well, he had one shot, and he took it, and it didn't work out. Andy Michener, anything you could have done differently?
No, I just, I meant to go in the corner a little bit harder, and then he kind of checked up a little bit, so I decided to go in a little bit further, and, you know, I just lost it, you know, totally my fault, and, you know, it was just one of them deals, you know, I was going for the win, and, you know, that happened, you know, it's just totally my fault I lost it.
All right, man, you took a shot. We're proud of you. That's Andy Michener. Hey, it's called racing. It's the last lap. Anything goes. He just came up a little short.
Sure did. 2 laps still remaining. Green flag is about to come out. Jeff Sands there between first and second again, but we anticipate Jeff doing the same thing as he did last time, and that is drop down to the inside of the track and allow the faster cars to go by on the outside. Here they come off of corner number 4. Green is waving. 2 laps to go. Here we go.
Let's see him. Irwin got that run. He did get the same run. That car in there gives him a little bit extra run. He just didn't take it on down in there and try. The same thing that Andy Michener did. He didn't get quite the good start that Michener did, but boy, is he on the throttle and right behind him there.
He sure is. He was sideways coming off the second corner, but Coletta doesn't care at all as that car is operating just flawlessly. The white flag is out. 1 more lap to go. The positions I don't think are going to change here unless we have a crash, because Coletta is very, very strong. Irwin continues to work hard in second position, but he is going to finish in second position, and Tony Stewart will come home third off the corner. There's the checker. Doug Coletta wins at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Dave.
I'll tell you what, we saw a little of everything tonight, but in the end, I think justice was served here. Doug Coletta came with the best race car, and when said was done and everybody stepped up and taken their shot, Doug Coletta wins at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 4th consecutive pavement victory for that car, 3 times with him at the wheel. For Bob Jenkins and Larry Rice, I'm Dave Despain. That's it, Thunderheads. See you next week.